So, welcome to Athens, welcome to the Acropolis. Acropolis, what does that mean? Acropolis is a compound word, two words. Acropolis, during the 12th century BC, was only a citadel, but after, from the 8th century BC, it became the city's main religious center. This was a holy place, and on the Acropolis sacred rock was worshipped a female goddess, the goddess Athena. The goddess Athena had a multidimensional personality, and she was worshipped with many names. She had many aspects. The first name with which Athena was worshipped on the Acropolis sacred rock was Athena Parthenos. Parthenos in Greek means the Virgin goddess, because according to the myth, Athena was never married. This is why. Athena was worshipped with many other names, as Athena Nike. Nike in Greek means the victory. There was an ancient goddess during the antiquity, Nike, who helped the Athenians to win in the battles. And Athena had her name. She was worshipped with her name as Athena Nike, and many other names we're going to see up there. So here we're going to cross the southern slope of the Acropolis, and here on the southern slope of the Acropolis was worshipped another god, the god of the wine, the god of the vegetation, the god of the theater, the god of intoxication. His name was Dionysus, Dionysos in Greek, or Bacchus in Latin. And now we're going to see after the most ancient theater in the world. Always the ancient theaters are situated in open air spaces. And this theater is connected to one of the most brilliant creations of the ancient Greeks, the ancient Greek drama. The ancient Greek drama is the ancestor of the modern theater. Its roots lie in the dithyrambos in Greek. Dithyrambos was an improvised song, was a song that was danced by the worshippers of Dionysus as they danced. Yes, it was sung, by the worshippers of Dionysus as they danced, and gradually it developed into the first complete theatrical expression of the Western world, the ancient Greek drama. The ancient Greek drama had three forms: tragedy, comedy, and satire. All these forms were perfected here in Athens of the 5th century BC, and here were performed the first tragedies of Aeschylus, Euripides, Sophocles, the first comedies of Aristophanes. The ancient theater was completely different to that of today, was a part of the religious events, was a part of the rituals in honor of Dionysus, and had a form of competition. Every year during the antiquity here in Athens, the Athenians celebrated a festival in honor of Dionysus, and every year here took place a dramatic contest in honor of Dionysus. And these dramatic contests were followed by all the cities.
importante haben die Fehler.
Can you imagine being here in the middle of the summer?
Yes, the birds. So, birds. Have you seen the birds?
In the birds.
Ah, very interesting. Oh, yes. Very interesting. Yes, very interesting. Okay, imagine that before this, all existed here was a circular space of trodden earth, designed especially for the rituals of Dionysus and Dionysus, and all the worshippers were seated on the slope and observed these rituals. And after, in the end of the 5th century, took its monumental form. So, all the ancient theatres are consisted of 3 sections. The first section was this circular platform upon which took place the action of the actors. This circular platform, we call it orchestra, from the ancient Greek verb orchume, that means dance. The second section, this was a theatrical shaped hollow, we call it kilon in ancient Greek, or cavea in Latin, where were placed the seats for the audience. Initially the seats were wooden, after in stone and after in marble. And the third section of the theatre, behind this circular platform, there was a long narrow building which was used initially by the actors to change clothes and after served as a scenery, a stage, skini, the shin. Here you can see the theatre with the impressive Roman stage. Behind you, you can see the remains of the Roman stage. The Romans built a very impressive stage, and behind the stage was actually the dogs. Always the theatre was connected, was a part of the religious events in honor of Dionysus. Don't forget this. This theatre had a capacity of 17,000 persons. The seats reach the foot of the rock, and this theatre. If you observe the first row seats, they are thrones, marble thrones, and these were created for the VIP of the city, for the priests of Dionysus, for the officials of the city, and on these thrones there are inscriptions carved up there with the name of the priest, the name of the official of the city. Another very interesting element, it's important, yes, that the ancient Greek drama had 2 very basic elements. The first was monologues and dialogues between the actors, and the second was songs sung by a group of people, the chorus, with rhythmic movements. All the actors played with masks. The women were excluded. The women, they couldn't participate to these dramatic contests. They only could participate as spectators. And yes, and the female roles were played by male actors. And they used to play with masks. It was a comedy, and the mask had a joyful expression. It was a tragedy, the mask had a sad expression. Citizens of the city. Why? To cover the expenses to sponsor these dramatic contests. After these sponsors were awarded with prizes. And there, in these doors and these columns, were placed the awards and you sponsored these dramatic contests. The performance, the theatrical performance. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Stak hånden ind i mine bukser, som ikke er mine bukser, men i min nedring. Så kunne jeg godt lide der nok. Jeg skal lige til at redde min lår fra at få et kæmpe sår. Ja, okay. Jeg har ikke et også over 2, og det gør ondt. Så jeg skal lige have noget solcreme på, for jeg tror, det er det bedste mulighed, jeg har. Det er bare jo ikke mennesker her. Jeg tager også små billeder. Og jo mere vi sveder, jo bedre er det. Ja. Så det er det dejligt. Så skal vi bare ud og løbe en tur.
This was a sanctuary of Asclepius. Asclepius was the major king of the was the god of the health, the god of the medicine. Eckhart had his sanctuary here, but his major healing center, and the birthplace of his worship, was not here in Athens, was in Epidaurus, southern east of Greece. A very important and very famous healing center all over the ancient world. The worship of the god transferred here in the end of the 5th century BC. The sanctuary of the god, the temple of the god housed the worship of the god and the healing therapy of the sick. All the sick had to follow rituals imposed by the god. The therapy was accomplished through the sleep. The god appeared to the sick in order to heal them or in order to give them instructions how to be cured. And inside the temple there was a spring gushing water. The water played an important role in the healing therapy of the sick. And always Asclepius was depicted with a snake, the rising snake, because his snake was his incarnation on the earth. And the snake united the two worlds, the underworld and the upper world. And always the snakes of Asclepius were sacred because kept with a venom, the sick to be cured. This is why the sign of the doctors, the sign in the drugstores, is the snake. This is from Asclepius myth. The god of the health, the god of the medicine. Let's continue, please, and watch your step, please.
Que ella podía dar la vuelta.
Y la mitad del mundo. Un idioma.
This is a grave of Philopappus. Who's Philopappus? Philopappus was a prince of Syria, was a descendant of Alexander the Great. He was defeated by the Romans and found refuge here in Athens. And so the Athenians lived in this region. After this, so we are in Athens. Athens is a very ancient city, and here is born the democracy. Another compound word, demokratia. Demos, kratos, towards. Demos, where the citizens can see. Kratos, the auditorium, the concert hall. Of Herodes Atticus. Herodes Atticus was a very wealthy citizen, a very wealthy Athenian citizen. He built this auditorium in memory of his wife Regilla. This has had a very beautiful cedar wood roof. It was built during the 2nd century AD and it was bombed during the 3rd century AD by the Eruli. Eruli were a German tribe. You have to know that the Acropolis sacred box suffered many disasters, successive disasters and pillaging throughout the centuries. We had many invaders here. So, this is a Roman auditorium. Look, its facade, 3-story arch facade. The arches are the main features of the Roman architecture. And to the Roman emperors like very much the arches because remind them their victories against their rivals. If you have ever been to Rome, Rome is full of arches. So, this had the capacity of 5,000 persons and hosted exclusively music performances, exclusively. And it has been restored during 50s. In 1957, Maria Callas had the concert here, and every summer takes place here a festival. From May to October, every night we have jazz concerts, class concerts, theatrical performances, almost every night, in the auditorium of Herodes Atticus. Let's continue.
Anna, what was it a statue or something in the next floor?
Where?
The center, right on top.
There,
No,
in the hill, on the hill.
no, right in front of us where that.
Clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the evening. It's very calm here, but now this time slot it's very busy. Wow. All the islands, the major part of the Greek islands are in the Aegean Sea. And straight ahead you can see the English border. The English border is the center port of Athens, the center port of Greece. If you're going to travel to the Greek islands, from Piraeus port, you're going to take the boat.
All the way around the roof.
The capital is gathered between the antiquity and beside the home of the administration of the sea. There you can see Black Joe. This is the National Observatory of Athens. And straight ahead you can see Newton here. This is Acropolis Mars. Aris was the god of the war. Mars was the god of the war. There was the sanctuary during the antiquity. And Acropolis Hill, there was founded the first Acropolis. And there was the meeting place of the council of aristocratic men who had judicial power and the god of metallurgy. So, where we are here, straight ahead, what we can see. On the right, the edge of the rock, on the remains of the ancient so straight ahead, some kind of monument. And I am going to show you how it was and you can see that this building it is without roof because unfortunately it was bombed during the Ottoman occupation of Athens. You can see 6 columns at the front, 6 columns at the rear part, which create 5 entrances. The central entrance is wider. I'm going to explain why after. We're going to cross now. Step. This is why the right straight ahead you can see the supreme achievement of ancient architecture, the Parthenon, and this was the largest temple during the antiquity, and all the temple was made in marble. You can see where's the side of the temple. We're going to cross the northern side and to find the eastern side. And from the eastern side was the entrance to the temple. They're really cute. All the entrance temples are turn around. Let's get this. Careful, darling. The only thing we'll have to support the crane. Yeah. fish.
Oh, there, I saw the pictures, sad, very sad.
I'm going to explain you where all these marbles were foraged. So here, straight ahead there, you can see the highest hill of Athens. This is Acropolis Hill, the highest hill of Athens, 280 meters high. And at the top of Acropolis Hill, the Lycabettos Greek, is a church dedicated to St. George. Behind Acropolis Hill, you can see mountain. This is Penteli mountain on the northern districts of Athens. From this mountain were called all this marble and transferred here by carriages in horses. And they had cranes and lifted all these marbles up here with ropes. The Great Pan Athena Festival, Pan Athena for all Athens. This festival, the duration of this, in honor of the goddess Athena, of course, the patron goddess of the city. This festival for the transferring of Peplos. Peplos was a club proven by the noblest women of Athens for the very ancient statue of the goddess Athena that was not placed in the Papillon, it was placed in the other temple with the maidens we are going to see after. So, this cloak was transferred here by this ship, this small wooden ship on the Acropolis Athens rock. So here you can see the Parthenon, the western side with scaffolding we have seen already. And so about this temple now, about the Parthenon, as I've told you, was the largest temple during the antiquity and was made in marble. And you can see the Parthenon along all sides has columns. And inside this perimeter colonnade, there was light blue. So I'm going to show you the anatomy of the temple, so you're going to understand more about this unique temple. So the Parthenon, it is not only unique for the quality of its cultural decoration. The Parthenon, it is not only unique for the architectural precision with which it was made. The Parthenon, it is unique for the speed with which it was made. It was built in 9 years, from 447 to 438. But its sculptural decoration was completed 6 years after, in 432. Two were the architects of the temple, Iktinos and Kallikrates, but the general supervisor of the temple and the sculptor of the temple was the great Phidias with his pupils. Here you can see the anatomy of the temple. This perimeter colonnade, we can see it now. We can see it now. The perimeter colonnade, we can see it already. Inside the perimeter colonnade, there was the cella. The cella was the main part of the temple with the roof. That now we cannot see it because it was bombed. Inside the cella, you can see another colonnade. Inside the cella, What is this colonnade? This colonnade surrounded the golden ivory statue of the goddess Athena that was dominating the cella, the main part of the temple. And for this statue, I'm going to explain after the architectural features of the temple. So, there's not one straight line in the Parthenon, and there's not one flat surface. All the vertical and the horizontal surfaces have curves. So the volume of the building looks larger. You may comprehend this choice of the ancient Greek architecture. The cella was the main part with the roof. We cannot see it now because it was gone. So all the vertical elements of the temple had inclinations towards the center. This is the first. Look at this scalar pedestal where the columns are. This horizontal surface was done. It's not horizontal, but here in the middle, look at these columns. They are not regular, but they by the architect. Why? About this temple, let's see the Parthenon. The only wall that has survived from the interior part of the temple, you can see behind the columns from the main part, which had a roof. Now they are trying to restore the interior part of the temple. So, this temple, this is Erechtheion temple. It was dedicated to Erechtheus. Erechtheus was a very ancient king, a very ancient hero of Athens. This temple was always outsold by the Parthenon, but for the Athenians was very important, very precious for the Athenians. This temple was built after the Parthenon between 421 and 404 during the Peloponnesian War. This civil war between the Athenians and the Spartans. The Athenians insisted to complete this temple. Why? During this war? Why? I'm going to explain you. You are going to understand after. So, this temple was not an ordinary temple that was built for a specific god or goddess. This was a high complex. This is still a high complex building. It is a curious temple. We don't know where is the facade, where are the windows, where is the entrance. So, we don't know also who was the architect. Maybe it was Mesicles who created the monumental entrance, but we don't know exactly. But he was very genius because this temple, although a temple lacks symmetry, the architect of this temple faced the changes on the grounds. You can see the changes here on the ground level, and despite the spatial problems, he managed to give cohesion to the building and create a very elegant temple. Unusual, but very elegant. So, this temple stands on 4 different levels and has three different volumes. The main volume and 2 lateral structures were added on this central volume. So, this temple during the antiquity housed many different cult elements, different worships. And this temple during the antiquity housed the sacred signs. What does that mean? What are the sacred signs? The sacred signs were indications of divine presence on the sacred rock, such as the olive tree of the goddess Athena, that the goddess Athena gave to the city during the contest with Poseidon, the traces from Poseidon's trident after the contest with Athena, and the spring gushing up water that Poseidon also gave to the city during the contest with the goddess Athena. were housed in this temple during the antiquity. So, the eastern part of the temple housed the worship of the goddess Athena, the patron goddess of the city. Inside this temple was the very ancient statue of the goddess Athena that was made in olive wood. And this statue, do you remember, was robed, was dressed every 4 years with a cloak woven by the Athenian women during the Great Pan-Athenia Festival. This statue, the Athenians believed that was heaven sent, was not made by human hands. So, as for the western part of the temple, was dedicated to Zeus, the lord of the humans and the gods, to Poseidon, the powerful god of the sea, and to Hephaestus, the god of metallurgy and fire. There are two porches. The southern porch, this porch with the maidens, the famous chorus of the Acropolis. Chori is singular, is the young girl. Chorus of the Acropolis are the young girls, with their bodies they supported the roof of this porch. They support the roof of this porch instead of columns, another innovation of the ancient Greek architecture. The maidens, or caryatids, we call them. Caryatids, why? From Caries. It was a village in southern Greece. According to the myth, there in Caries, this village, there were young chorus, young girls who danced ritual dances for another virgin goddess, Diana, Artemis for us, the goddess of the hunting. So, these beautiful young girls, these chorus, they are gazing the sacred road where passed the procession of the Great Pan-Athenia Festival during the antiquity. They had an architectural role served by their pose, actual frame. Look at their heavy garments, external vertical pleats remind us the flutes of the columns. Don't forget that their garments had colors, so stressing the polychromy of the building. They had a voluminous, elaborate hairstyle. Why? To strengthen this, the weak bearing point of the neck, because with hay heads they supported the roof of this porch. Look at the slight movement of their leg. They represented walking ceremonially as in procession, because they represented priestesses on the Acropolis sacred rock, served for a short period of their life, the worship of the goddess Athena. So, apart from their artistic work, they had a symbolic one, because this sport stands upon the grave of another very ancient king of Athens. His name was Acropolis. So these young girls, these chorus, they are the artistic, life-giving expression of the funerary monument. So these are not originals, these are replicas. The second from the left has been stolen by Lord Elgin, and now it's in the British Museum in London. The rest of the five of them, are in the Acropolis Museum. The Greek archaeologists transferred them during 80s to be preserved from the corrosion and the air pollution. So, at the beginning of the 5th century BC, there was another temple, an earlier temple dedicated always to the goddess Athena, and it was demolished and they built the erected temple. And where you can see it today, you have seen the classical Parthenon, the marble temples. On the side where is now the classical Parthenon, which was built during the 5th century BC, was an earlier temple that was built during the 6th century BC, made in limestone. So, it goes in the museum. We're going to see many statues which decorate the area. These archaeologists found here. And parts of them are in the museum. Of the temple. So, if you observe, this temple was built at the edge of the rock, close to the fortification wall. Why? Because the Athenians wanted to leave free the central space of the Acropolis, because gathered there to attend the sacrifices, they were leading animals to the slaughter in honor of the goddess Athena. This is why. So, you can see the rear part of the temple, the northern part. Here is the magnificent gate, the access to the western part of this unique temple. This part was dedicated to Hephaestus, to Poseidon and Zeus, and inside the temple was the spring gas and salt water, the traces from Poseidon's trident, the sacred signs, and you can see the other sacred sign that the world's first olive tree that Athena gave to the city during the contest between with Poseidon. But this is not an ancient olive tree. This is new. It has a symbol. So the Athenians, as I've told you, they insisted to build this during the civil war, during the Peloponnesian War. So why? So with this temple monumentalized the sacred signs. The sacred signs documented the presence of the gods on the Acropolis sacred rock.